2025 Ballon d'Or winner as we speak is currently out nursing an injury. In other news as we speak, the substance with the chemical formula of H2O, I'm reliably informed, is still of wet texture. But you see, not all footballers have had the horrible luck of being out with injuries during what was possibly the pinnacle of their individual careers, and very few with the atrocious luck of Ousmane Dembele of being out with injuries during, well, days when the sun is out. And as a result, how players react to reaching said pinnacle as far as their expressions on the pitch over the last 2 decades have, in all honesty, been very much a mixed bag. And today I'll be delving into this bag, as we here indeed will be ranking every Ballon d'Or winner's first game after winning the award since 2004. Here's the criteria to judge performance. Let's roll on. Number 20, Rodri 2024. Game, Manchester City 3, Bournemouth 1. We start with last year, which funnily enough very much mirrors this year. Rodri was also awarded the Ballon d'Or amidst an ongoing hiatus. This was following a ligament tear during a game against Arsenal a month earlier. His next appearance would be a 7-minute cameo 7 months later. That isn't much time to do anything really, unless you're you. Number 19, Messi 2021. Game, PSG 0, Nice 0. One running theme across this entry: wrong guy for the award, should have been Lewandowski. Wrong time to give the award, this was amidst Messi's poor start to life in France. Wrong game post the award, this was against one of the stronger teams in France, the likes of which Messi struggled against more often than not. And to top it all off, wrong position played in the first game post the award. This was very much an exercise in trying to fit them all in, nothing new for PSG at the time. So all in all, a wrong type of performance that's rightly forgotten. Number 18, Cannavaro 2006. Game, Sevilla 2, Real Madrid 1. I remember this. Well, I remember Bex's fabulous fancy side-footed familiar but furtive floating free kick that fired the favourites in front. The rest, yeah, I had to look back. You see, Fabio Cannavaro is like the defender's version of Xavi. It's hard to say anything bad about him because he's too good. It's hard to say anything good about him because he's so unassuming. And yeah, this was very much this game. He did his job all the way. None of the goals conceded were in any way his fault. One was because of Salgado falling asleep, while the other was a mix-up followed by a bicycle kick. So in summary, a good display that, yes, would get marked down due to the result. Number 17, Messi 2023. Game, Argentina 0, Uruguay 2. So by the time Messi was wrongly gifted his 8th Ballon d'Or, he was applying his trade in Miami under Bex's project. And given that the Ballon d'Or ceremony took place late October, it was just after the conclusion of the MLS season, with Leo's next game coming 18 days later for Argentina. The Albiceleste were battered by Uruguay at home during a World Cup qualifier where, if you view it as a casual, you'd think Leo was phoning it in. In reality, he was doing his part, scanning for the majority of the game, trying to speed it up when he got on, getting knocked off more often than not. Sorry, that's just always gonna happen. But then being let down by a couple of teammates too this time. Wasn't terrible, but below average for sure. Number 16, Modric 2018. Game, Huesca 0, Real Madrid 1. A pretty typical Modric 18-19 performance. A decrease in quality from the previous year, though that's not all his fault. Never forget, this was a transition year for Real Madrid. And mind you, it didn't help that the hosts in this game really went for it, coming close on multiple occasions and keeping the Madrid defense very much on their toes throughout the 90. But don't get me wrong, Modric was far from bad here. He played a little further up, had a couple of lively spurts, couldn't really consistently threat the Huesca defense. I hope I'm saying that right. Huesca? Whose car? And was ultimately subbed off after a little over an hour. But again, please understand, this was not bad at all. 15, Messi 2011. Game, Osasuna 1, Barcelona 2. Now, unlike the matches following his last 2 golden bollocks, this performance was far more positive than negative for Messi. After all, he did make the final pass for Sergio Roberto's winner late on. However, given that this was basically a nothing game and Messi only came on around the hour mark, I can't rank it too high. Number 14, Messi 2009. Game, Xerez 0, Barcelona 2. Boy, I hope I'm saying that right too. Xerez? Xerez. X-Erase. Exonerate! Yeah, basically the last one copy and paste. He came on around the hour mark in a game Barca were already cruising, but once again his contributions were far more positive than negative as he managed to register an assist, this time practically in the last kick of the game. I rate this a place higher than the Osasuna performance as, well, he played for a couple of minutes longer first off, and the game was at more of a risk of getting away than the Copa tie, but at the end of the day, can't mark this too high either. But don't you worry my child, cause if you're a Messi fanboy on the unhealthy side and are thinking about crying in the comments already seeing him 4 times on this list this early, believe me when I say, you'll be more than delighted by the end. Stay tuned. Number 13, Shevchenko 2004. Game, Juventus 0, Milan 0. He banged in a brace the previous game. He had a brace of assists as well as another goal in the following game. But the game following Andrei Shevchenko's debatable Ballon d'Or win was a pretty quiet affair for the man outside a shot that steered just wide. I mean, it didn't help that this was the Italian Classico and, well, it was also Italian football. If you know, you know. But this affair was certainly a forgettable one for Sheva. The support around him was a lot more lively, specifically Crespo, Seedorf, and number 12, Kaká 2007. Game, AC Milan 1, Celtic 0. He had an amazing performance against them the previous season. He had a decent performance against them here. With Milan very much already in the knockouts at this point, they weren't looking to break the goal scoring records in this group stage encounter against Celtic. Italian teams never are anyway. And as an attacking player in this tactical battle, Kaká took no real chances, tried to make things happen when getting on the ball, getting the fruits of his labour in the form of being involved in Inzaghi's winner. Number 11, Ronaldo 2013. Game, Osasuna 0, Real Madrid 2. One of Ronaldo's very few off games in the 13-14 season. But given that it was the 13-14 season, even the off game naturally will include running at the defense non-stop, thus being a threat non-stop, as a result getting fouled non-stop, and ending with a goal that could very easily have been stopped. He only played for an hour, but his impact was there for all to see. Number 10, Ronaldo 2008. Game, Manchester United 1, Sunderland 0. We had identical back-to-back post-Ballon d'Or performances by Messi early on, so it's only natural that we'd have the same for Ronaldo at some point a little later on, which is now. Cause yes, this was another game Ronnie played for around an hour, another game where he ran out the defense throughout the hour, having to be monitored for basically every millisecond of the hour in case, you know, he pulls off something like this, and in the end make the Sunderland players glad once they saw the back of him early, having to be taken off because of a knock he picked up during the game. But again, the impact was already there for all to see. Oh, and by the way, see this. What a generous bloke. Number 9, Ronaldo 2014. Game, Atletico Madrid 2, Real Madrid 2. Taking place right around the time the Madrid 14-15 side was starting to get exposed, Real came into the game already 2-0 down from the first leg a week earlier, a game which Ronaldo started on the bench, something which Mr. Ancelotti clearly learned from as all 3 of the BBC started here, and while they once again didn't have the greatest of starts, falling behind as early as the first minute, CR7's clutch mode was activated soon after as he started with a goal to level it on the day and followed that by taking it to the Atletico defense for the rest of the game via multiple shots as well as great movement / link-up play. Didn't impact the ultimate result, but individually this was solid. Number 8, Ronaldo 2016. Game, Club America 0, Real Madrid 2. So this was the first year in almost a decade where the Ballon d'Or ceremony took place at the end of the year as opposed to the beginning of the next, and as a result, it took place right before Real was scheduled to fly out to Japan for the Club World Cup. Ronaldo performed a lot better in the final against Kashima Antlers with a hat-trick, but the immediate game following his 4th golden ball was the semi-final against Club America, and this is a game I woke up super early to watch. Well, I actually woke up early to pack. I was off to London from Portsmouth pretty soon after. And as annoyed as I was having to do all that, Ronnie seemed even more annoyed for huge chunks of this game, knocking on the door throughout the hour and a half on the pitch, and either being denied or not being found by his teammates. Eventually though, he did manage to end the game with a well-deserved goal. Though VAR tried to deny him off that too. Television doesn't work, eh? Better luck next time, mate. Number 7, Messi 2012. Game, Malaga 1, Barcelona 3. A very typical outing from the better end of Messi performances from 2011 to 2013. He wasn't as involved as he was in years prior to this phase, but he picked his moments well and certainly made the opposition pay. And look, let's not get it twisted. His goal was very much the result of good fortune created by bad defending, and his second assist was nothing but a layoff. But when you see his ball to Fabregas for Barca's second goal, not only does it negate all that, it makes you just want to stand up and applaud. Number 6. Ronaldinho 2005. Game, Villarreal 0, Barcelona 2. Fuck, this dude was amazing. Sorry, newsflash, but man, sometimes we just need to go back and remind ourselves, especially someone like me who's claimed in the past that there are aspects of his game that have been overrated since. I stand by that, by the way, just how incredible he was on his day. And the 4th of December 2005 was very much his day. Like, never mind the 2 assists. One was iffy, the other was a nothing pass. But what he did to that defense throughout the 90 was, man, it felt illegal. Like, look at this shit. Bro, who does that? I miss this guy, man. Number 5. Benzema 2022. Game, Elche 0, Real Madrid 3. An ideal example of how a manager can get the best out of an aging player, as Big Benz won his only Ballon d'Or during a phase where he was mostly rested, but then put back-to-back brilliant performances inside the week like he'd won 15 Ballon d'Or straight. A great display in the Clasico where his goal led Real to a 3-1 win, and individually an even better performance against Elche a few days later where, to put it straight, he was everywhere. Beginning with a goal and an assist each disallowed in the first 30 minutes, relenting on with some brilliant through passes, intricate link-up play, and even running through players at one point, having another goal disallowed in the hour mark, but in the end managing to top up this beast of an outing with one that quite rightly stood. Number 4. Messi 2010. Game, Barcelona 5, Betis 0. As was the norm during the early 2010s era, the Ballon d'Or ceremony was followed by the latter stages of the Copa del Rey, and as was the norm during, well, any era, Messi ended the game with a hat-trick. It wasn't a perfect performance, and to tell you the truth, a lot of the stuff was rushed and misplaced, but of course, not only does his hat-trick more than make up for it, especially the exquisite chip for the first goal, but perhaps more importantly for YouTube warriors who probably weren't even alive back then, this is far from the last time you'll hear Messi's name in this video, so for just a little longer, do stay tuned. Number 3. Ronaldo 2017. Game, Real Madrid 5, Sevilla 0. Well, this was just bad timing for the opposition. They were up against a man who always seemed to do well against them, right after he had an ego boost like he needed that, and right around the time his form began to pick up following a slow start. And what happens when all that comes together? A demolition job. Ronaldo placing a textbook centre-forwards finish for his first, scoring a penalty for the second, winning the ball and starting the attack for the next, and finding the first real key pass for the last. And speaking of last, this was the last time Sevilla met their Dark Invader in his old stomping ground. And I'm sure I speak for everyone associated with the club when I say, yeah, no one misses him. Number 2, Messi 2015. Game, Barcelona 4, Granada 0. Another Messi hat-trick. What do you expect? Right, so if I remember correctly, there was actually a Copa del Rey game on the day of the event. Barca hosted local rivals Espanyol and Messi backed 2 goals and 2 assists, if you must know. But since that did take place before he received the award, it obviously doesn't count. And if you're a Messi fan, it sure is for the better, cause as good as he was against Espanyol, he was so much better against Granada. And well, we just spoke about Ronaldo putting up a great display post his Ballon d'Or crowning, which began a good run following a slow start to the season. So of course we will not have to talk about Messi putting up a great display post his Ballon d'Or crowning, which began a good run following a slow start to the season. Soulmates these two, with Messi's stop-start-start to the 15-16 season finally picking up the pace where he slapped in a hat-trick, combining amazingly with Emerson for all 3 of his goals, even starting the attack for the first. And it was about to get even better, both in that season and on this list. In that season, because this was the beginning of a 7-game run where he had at least 1 goal involvement every game, 12 in total. And on this list, because, well, number 1, Messi 2019. Game, Barcelona 5, Mallorca 2. A hat-trick of post-Ballon d'Or hat-tricks. Wow. But on top of that this time, number 1, 2 of his goals were absolute worldies, and 2, while in 2011 he was trying to do a lot but couldn't find his feet for a lot of it, and in 2016 he refrained from being too involved below the final third, here he was basically doing everything, as he was for a lot of his final years at Barca. It wasn't always beneficial for his team, but boy did it no doubt show just how great this man was, especially that night, because Leo was unstoppable here, dribbling past players with ease, sporadically picking up positions deep down the pitch and linking play, and above all being efficient when the chances came. What a performance. And as far as post Ballon d'Or performances go, this was no doubt Messi's best. This was no doubt, at least in the last 2 decades, the best. Period. And that is that. Agree or disagree? Beats indifference. Once again, don't forget to like, comment, and share. And of course, subscribe. Till next time, you keep rolling.